What's up, guys? How are you? Welcome into a Saturday morning episode of the Daily Juice Podcast with me, Matt Perrault, at Sports Talk Matt, my handle on our Discord channel, on all socials. Our Discord channel, bettingpros.com/chat. A lot of new faces, handles, and names in there this week. Good to see. Thank you for joining that. I appreciate you guys for joining into the Discord channel. It's a cool community. I'm in the Daily Juice channel, in case you're curious. That's where I hang out. Come on over and hang out with me during games. How about today? Well, it's been a week. 15-5. These are the weeks when I say it's a roller coaster, okay? It's the ups and the downs. This is the up. Are we going to stay hot? I don't know how long this will continue. I just know this will stop, okay? We will cool off at some point. When? I don't know. But we're up nearly 10 units on the week, okay? This is just, it's been 2, 1.9, 1.9, 1.9. I mean, it's good. It's really, really good. UNLV. Now, if you guys don't know, I teach at UNLV. So, when people say it's a homer bet, that I got a lot of teams to call homer, guys. All right? Call the Golden Knights homer. Call Vegas homer. Call UNLV homer. Celtics, Bruins, Raiders, Patriots, Creighton, Drake. Like, how many of these are Alabama? How many of these are homer picks? Okay, I've worked all over the country, so it's difficult to say that when you're in the Discord channel and you're like, oh, that was a homer pick by Matt. Be careful. Just saying, I do go by the moniker Bostonian, but I've spent more time of my life outside of New England than I have inside of New England. Fun little fact to know about me. This podcast being brought to you by our friends at omahasteaks.com. I mean, guys, if you haven't done this yet, okay, this is one great way of saying thank you for what the podcast is doing. This is free, okay? This is free. If you bet the Vegas game last night, you could have laddered it. I took Vegas over 4.5 goals, plus 120. I got that. I mean, we've been giving you picks and plays, not just the official plays. We've been giving you other picks and plays as well to jump on in and be a part of. Go to omahasteaks.com. Order something phenomenal for yourself, for your loved ones, something that's going to sit in your freezer when you're ready to go. Maybe you're tired of cooking during the holidays. You just grab it and throw it on the grill. It's quick and easy, and it's 50% off right now and an additional $30 off with the promo code JUICE at omahasteaks.com. All right. I wanted to do something with college basketball today, okay? So if you want a college basketball bet, the Creighton Blue Jays, they play North Dakota State today. I'm on their team total, over 86.5. You can jump in on that. But I'm not going to make it official because here's the one little hook. So Greg McDermott coached at North Dakota State. He's not going to run the score up. And on average, when the Jays have played on Fox Sports 2, they score over 88 points per. Now, that's a weird thing to bet on, right? Be like, Matt, these games, it's a weird trend. Yes. This Jays team can score on anybody. It's just a question of whether or not they want to score that many points. I think they'll score 90, but North Dakota State might take the air out of the ball. So if they don't play up-tempo with the Jays, the line's 24 points. Total's 148.5. I'm not going to make it official. If you want a college basketball play, there's your college basketball play for the day. Creighton Blue Jays team total over 86.5 for that. Okay, so what are we making official? I've got 4 college football bets, and I have 1 NHL play to give you guys here today. Get ready for SEC football. If you don't like SEC football, you're not going to like this. Penn State, Michigan is going to be an in-game bet for me. Here's the problem. The Jim Harbaugh story changed everything. Now, I was on the fence anyway. I was going to lay the 4.5 points with Michigan. I was going to take the 4.5 points with Penn State. I was going to take the over 45. I was going to take the under 45. It's 44.5 at most places. I lean towards the under, and I lean towards Michigan. I don't think Penn State scores, okay? But we're going to know pretty fast. If Penn State's offense goes 3 and out in the first 2 possessions, I'm going to be all in on Michigan. Okay, I'm taking whatever the point number is. I'm laying it. Michigan's going to kill Penn State. Penn State's got to prove they can move the football on Michigan's defense. Now, Michigan's got to prove they can move it on Penn State's defense too. Okay, this is a defensive battle. But Jim Harbaugh, I think, will be on the sidelines. If you missed the whole story, he's suspended, banned, really. Big Ten tried to ban him. They went to a court. They went to a judge in Michigan. The guy's a Michigan alum and a Michigan professor who was the judge. I don't know. He was going to recuse himself. Maybe he didn't. They're going to go after a stay, and then Jim Harbaugh will be able to be on the sidelines against Penn State for Michigan. I think he'll be there. And because of that, I mean, J.J. McCarthy's out there tweeting bet. I don't know what to do with that, okay? So that's an in-game play. The other really big game is Georgia and Ole Miss. So let's talk about Georgia. Georgia's offense can score on literally anybody, okay? And it's been impressive to watch. This is a night game in Athens. Number 1 Georgia, technically number 2 Georgia, up against number 9 Ole Miss. Ole Miss is 4-5 to the over on the year, 0-3 on the road. Georgia is 5-4 on the year, 2-4 at home. So you might go, Matt, why would you bet over? Here is why. I think Ole Miss can actually throw the ball. Missouri threw the ball last week. Missouri moved the ball on Georgia. Now, Georgia won the game 30-21. The game went under because the total was 55. Okay, this total is even higher. This total is 58. I thought about betting under, and then I went, I don't think so. The number's coming down, but I don't think that Georgia is going to be able to totally stop Ole Miss's offense. I think Georgia's going to score a lot of points here. I think Georgia can score 40 points. The question will be, how many points can Ole Miss score? The line for this game is 11, 10.5 or 11. I do lean towards Georgia covering this, but I do think you could see Ole Miss move the football here. They scored 38 points last week on Texas A&M, gave up 35. They scored 33 points on Vanderbilt, scored 28 points on Auburn, 27 points on Arkansas, scored 55 points at home against LSU in overtime, just 10 points on the road against Alabama. That's the one fear factor, okay? That's the one game that gives me pause that I'm like, man, I'm not in love with this bet. Okay? I like this bet. I don't love this bet, but I like this bet because I do think that Ole Miss can move the ball, but I also really think that Georgia's going to score more than what Alabama scored. Bama scored 24. Again, I think Georgia scores 40. If you want to go team total Georgia, I don't hate that either, okay? I don't hate going over on the team total for Georgia. I just think there's a chance that Ole Miss does something crazy here at night and Lane Kiffin pulls out something wild, and we see Ole Miss starting to move the football and score on Georgia, and we see this game, 30-30 at one point in the fourth quarter. And then it's up to, the game goes over. Maybe Ole Miss covers. Maybe they don't. We're sweating it out. I'd rather just lay the 58 points. It's a big number. Okay, it is. But again, if I get 20 out of Ole Miss, I'm getting 40, I think, out of Georgia. I think I'm good. You also might get 40 out of Georgia and 30 out of Ole Miss, and then they cover. Okay? So that's my one little fear on this whole thing is that if Ole Miss is in the game, this game's going over. Okay? If it's a complete blowout, then we might be in trouble and the game may not go over. But I'm going to go ahead and take Georgia at night. Little mayhem between the hedges. Over 58 for 1.1 units for Georgia and Ole Miss. Staying in the SEC, Tennessee at Missouri. Missouri, like I mentioned, their offense looked really good moving the football against Georgia, one of the top defenses in the entire country. Tennessee has seen 3 games in a row go over. 4 of the last 5 have gone over. They're 3-1 on the road to the over, 5-3-1 to the over this season. Missouri 6-3 to the over. They're 3-2 at home, although their last 2 games have gone under, including their game against Georgia and their game against South Carolina. However, Kentucky went over by 8.5 points. LSU went over by 24.5 points. Vanderbilt went over by 6 points. Alabama, Kentucky, UConn. Tennessee's offense put up 59, 33, and 20 the last 3 weeks. I like Tennessee to move the football. I like Missouri to move the football. I really like this. I like this over more than the Georgia over, but I bet them both. Georgia over 58 points here Tennessee and Missouri over 58 points for 1.1 units. Both quarterbacks, both offenses. Tennessee is hot scoring points. Missouri, I think, will score enough points to have it go over. I lean towards Tennessee to win this game, but it's a -3 number. It was 1.5 during the week. Now it's 3. I lean towards Tennessee to win the game. You want to lay the 3, take Tennessee, but I'm going to bet the over 58, Missouri and Tennessee for 1.1 units. Now, if you don't want to bet the Georgia over, under 28 points, Iowa and Rutgers. Okay? I'm not making that bet official. I've made that bet myself. I'm not making it official because I can't ask you guys to suffer through that because I can't believe it's not going to. I mean, that game, it has to go over. 28 points, it's got to go over. It has to. It's just a principal play. So if you don't like the Georgia over, you want to play an under 28 points, Iowa and Rutgers. Go ahead and bet that. Okay? There's your under play of the day if you want. I have played it, but I'm not making it official because it's just going to be a gross football game, and it very easily, I mean, it's ridiculous. 17-14, we lose on 28, okay? It's ridiculous, but that's very possible. So that's why I'm not touching that. But if you do want to go with an under, there's your under play if you would like. But officially, Georgia over 58, Missouri over 58. Now, one more bet in the SEC. Alabama on the road against Kentucky. Bama has been tremendous of late. Alabama has been extremely dominant of late. Jalen Milroe has figured it out. He really has. And it's kind of fun to watch. You're like, man, this kid, he's really figured it out. He's playing really, really well. Alabama's 8-1 on the year so far. Alabama has scored 42, 34, 24, 26, and 40 dating back to the 30th of September. Their offense is clicking. Here is the play I like for this game against Kentucky. Now, Kentucky on the year, 6-3. Kentucky on the year has not been a great team to cover. They lost and didn't cover against Georgia. They lost and didn't cover against Missouri. They lost and didn't cover against Tennessee. They won against Mississippi State last week, 24-3. They snapped out of it, laying 5.5 points. The game still went under, however, because Mississippi State did not score. Alabama is a 10.5, 11-point favorite here on the road. I don't want to lay that. Instead, I think Bama gets off to a very fast start, and I'm going to go back to an old bet we used to make a ton of. Alabama in the first half. Alabama is -6.5 for 1.1 units -6.5 for the first half up against Kentucky. I just think Alabama's going to boat race them. Okay, I think there's a good chance they cover it, but I think early, I think Bama's too physical, too strong, and just too good for Kentucky out of the gate. And I think they come at it flying on the road. This is a Bama team that has a lot in its sights. They really have a chance to make it to the college football playoff, which I didn't think that they would after a loss against Texas. But they absolutely are live here. If they can get past a tough Kentucky team, they play Chattanooga at home for a layup, and then they're on the road at Auburn to end the year for the Iron Bowl. 2 big road games, but at home, 3 straight wins, beating Arkansas, beating Tennessee, and beating LSU. I'm going first half over -6.5 for Alabama. Sorry, for first half -6.5, not over. First half -6.5. Sorry, it's late. -6.5 for Alabama in the first half up against Kentucky. Okay, so the 4 plays for college football are the following: Bama first half against Kentucky -6.5. There's one more I forgot about. Sorry, one more. Well, those are the three SEC plays, or Alabama -6.5 in the first half, Georgia over 58, Missouri over 58. Now, one more play. Oregon against USC. Look, come on now. This is Oregon's not going to be stopped at all. USC can't stop Oregon. The number is 16. Oregon is 7-1-1 on the year. They're 4-1-1 in conference. They're 3-1-1 over their last 5. They're 4-1 at home. USC is abysmal on the road. 0-4 ATS. They are 2-8 on the season ATS. They're 1-6 ATS. They've lost their last 7 games. ATS. I can't subscribe to this. I can't make a case for USC to cover at all. I think the game probably goes over at 76.5 from a total perspective. It probably goes over, but I'm going to lay the 16 points with Bo Nix having a chance to once and for all end the Heisman campaign of Caleb Williams. He'll be gone. And he and Michael Penix Jr. very well, it may come down to what will happen in the Pac-12 championship game as to who wins the Heisman Trophy. I got Oregon's offense. Their defense will slow down USC enough. I laid 16 points. Oregon, minus 16 for 1.1 units. Okay, so the 4 college football bets on the day. Alabama first half, minus 6.5. Oregon, minus 16. Missouri over 58 and Georgia over 58 as well. Now, one hockey bet to give you guys. Ottawa and Calgary. So you have a Ottawa team at home that has been, to the over, has been wild. 5-1-1 for Ottawa to the over. They're 3-5 at home this year, straight up. But man, do they score goals. They give up goals and they score goals. So their last 3 games, 5-2, 6-3, and 6-4. All those games going over. Calgary played last night against Toronto, 5-4 final in that one. They have a 9, 6, 9, 7, and 7 totals for the Flames over their last 5 games. Total of 6.5. It doesn't matter who's in net to me, okay? It doesn't matter who plays net. These teams just don't play defense, and they give up a lot of goals. They score a lot of goals. They give up a lot of goals. Calgary against Ottawa, I'm going over 6.5, minus 120 for 1.2 units. All right? 5 plays officially, 5.5 units in play, 4-1. Gone 3-1, 3-1, 3-1. 3-1 in college football I'd be cool with. So let's even go 3-1 there. I know it's a bit different. We've been doing 4 every day. I've been doing 5 on Saturdays and 5+ on Sundays. So I'm going to stay consistent with that. Let's see how we do on a Saturday. Again, at some point, I'm going to cool off. Okay. At some point, just how this is going to go. All right. Again, if you want a college basketball play, you can take the Creighton Blue Jays team total over 86.5 today up against North Dakota State. If you want to jump in on that, you can do that. That's my only real thought on a college basketball game here going into a Saturday. There's some games that are going to be intriguing, but it is very early from a college basketball standpoint to see what happens. Duke and Kansas both played last night. The top-ranked team playing today is UConn up against Stonehill, which they'll annihilate. Creighton plays North Dakota State like we talked about, and that's about it. There's just not a huge, amazing slate of games here. Just looking to make sure that Drake is not playing. I don't believe Drake is playing today. I think Drake plays on Sunday, which could create kind of an interesting betting opportunity if Drake winds up playing on Sunday. Because, let's be honest, it's a college football. It's an NFL Saturday, but NFL Sunday, we might want to playing Drake, which is pretty typical of me as to how I roll. But I'll look. I haven't looked at Sunday's college basketball schedule yet all that much. But anyways, it's been a good week. 15-5. Let's keep it rolling here on a Saturday. Georgia over 58, Missouri over 58, Oregon minus 16, Alabama first half minus 6.5, over 6.5, Calgary and Ottawa here on a Saturday. My name is Matt Perrault. Follow me on socials at Sports Talk Matt each and every morning. The Daily Juice Podcast always being brought to you by OmahaSteaks.com.